Let's be honest, if you're in retail, returns feel like a part of the game you just have to play. But what if I told you that what started as a smart, strategic tool to build an entire industry has now spiraled into a nearly $900 billion problem? Today, we're going to dig into how we got here, and more importantly, what the new playbook looks like to turn this massive cost center into a real competitive advantage.
So here's how we're going to break it down. First, we'll go back in time to the dawn of e-commerce to see how the whole idea of free and easy returns even started. Then we'll watch it morph into the financial beast it is today. We'll look at how retailers are starting to fight back. And finally, we'll lay out a new playbook that can turn this threat into a serious opportunity.
All right, let's dive right in. You see, the returns crisis we're living in didn't start out as some big mistake. No, it actually began as a brilliant and frankly an absolutely necessary business strategy to get people over the hump, to get them comfortable with this crazy new idea of buying stuff online.
You gotta remember, in the early days of the internet, retailers had a massive trust gap to overcome. People were thinking, how do I know if it's gonna fit? What if the color looks totally different in person? Generous, frictionless returns were the answer. They were the price of admission, the strategic sacrifice you had to make to get that click, get that sale, and build a whole new way of shopping.
And you know what? It worked. It worked spectacularly. This whole customer-first attitude, famously captured by legends like Nordstrom taking back a set of tires they never even sold, that built the confidence that fueled decades of e-commerce growth. But in solving that one huge problem, the industry accidentally planted the seeds for the massive challenge that we're all dealing with today.
So yeah, that brilliant strategy, it worked a little too well. And now we're staring down the unintended consequences, and the numbers, they are absolutely staggering. Let's take a look at just how big this problem has gotten.
Think about this. Just a few short years ago, back in 2019, the average retail return rate was sitting at a pretty manageable 8.1%, okay? That was just the accepted cost of doing business.
Now, fast forward to today. That rate has more than doubled. We're looking at a projected 16.9%. That is a seismic shift in an incredibly short amount of time, and it's completely changing the economics of retail.
And this isn't just about percentages, it's about the cold, hard cash. The total financial hit didn't just grow, it absolutely exploded. In 2019, it was just over $300 billion. Today, we're talking an estimated $890 billion. That's a nearly $600 billion jump in just 5 years. It's completely unsustainable.
So what's driving all this? It's not just that people are shopping more, it's that entirely new behaviors have emerged. Our generous policies literally taught customers new habits. Things like bracketing, buying multiple sizes of the same shirt to try on at home, or wardrobing, the whole wear it for the party and send it back on Monday trick. These aren't just edge cases anymore, they've gone mainstream.
And just look at how common this is. A full 40% of shoppers now admit to bracketing sometimes or even always. Nearly a third have fessed up to wardrobing. These aren't just little anecdotes anymore. These are systemic behaviors that are wreaking absolute havoc on inventory, logistics, and, of course, the bottom line.
Okay, so with costs exploding like this, the industry obviously had to do something. The pendulum has started to swing back, but now retailers are finding themselves caught in a really, really difficult spot.
The era of the universally free, no questions asked return, well, it's coming to an end. In the last year alone, two-thirds of retailers have started charging fees for at least one return method. They're trying to claw back some of these insane costs.
But here's the catch. This solution is a total double-edged sword. On the one hand, yeah, charging for returns does work. It cuts down rates, you get some revenue back. But on the other hand, it comes at a steep price. Way more customer complaints, a dip in sales, and the one thing every executive fears, losing customers for good. This is the tightrope everyone is walking right now. So if just slapping on fees isn't the whole answer, what is? Well, this brings us to a new, much more strategic playbook. It's one that shifts the entire thinking on returns from a defensive, cost-cutting chore to an offensive, value-creating strategy. The framework is actually built on 3 simple but really powerful pillars. First, you have to proactively reduce the number of returns happening in the first place. Second, you've got to find ways to actually profit from the returns you can't avoid. And third, you use the return experience itself to delight customers and build even more loyalty. Now, to do this right, we need a new metric. For years, all of us in this business have been obsessed with one word: conversion. But that only tells half the story. The winning retailers of the future will be just as obsessed with reversion, measuring where value is leaking out of the system through returns and refunds, so you can understand your true end-to-end profitability.
And this right here, this captures the mindset shift that has to happen. A return isn't a customer problem. It's a data point. It's a flashing red light that something in the product, or the description, or the experience failed. Owning that failure is the absolute first step to fixing it.
And when you embrace that mindset, that's when you can truly transform what has become retail's biggest headache into one of your most powerful sources of competitive advantage.
So, what does this actually look like in practice? It means treating returns like product defects and using that data to fix the root cause. It means seeing every single return interaction as a second chance to convert a refund into an exchange or store credit. And it means designing a return experience that's so good, so easy, it actually makes your customers more loyal, not less.
This is what the future looks like. The returns warehouse is no longer just some reverse logistics black hole sucking up money. It becomes an intelligence hub, a place to gather critical data to improve your entire business and re-engage with your most valuable customers at a critical moment.
Ultimately, it comes down to this. Every single return that comes back through your doors is a critical decision point. It's a chance to recover revenue, sure, but it's also a chance to strengthen a customer relationship or to rebuild your brand's reputation. So the question this leaves all of us with is, what will you choose to do at that decision point?